PTF and JK back with you for more stakes coverage. Looking ahead to Grade 1 action at Saratoga on the weekend. The Saratoga Derby, JK. This race has thrown up some pretty good winners over the last few years. We might see another one this year. Who do you like in this spot?
Well, I'm going to make you stick around for a second to find out who I like. I like the horse.
You want to talk through the field first?
No, I don't want to talk through all of them, but I think there's a couple that definitely need a name check. We'll go first with the invader, Diego Velasquez. This is a horse who ships in for Aidan O'Brien, who won last time out 16 days ago. And looking at Aidan O'Brien's stats, 1 for 22 when shipping, or excuse me, not when shipping, but when running a horse back off of 1 to 22 days of a layoff, right? So this horse is coming back off 16 days. And it's just not something that Aidan has been successful with. And at a horse who's going to be a short price, I think it's at least interesting to consider some other ones.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. This is one where, right or wrong, I think I'm going to do the Charlie Brown to Lucy thing and say, tell the statistics to shut up. Because how many of those horses had at least a 5-point buyer speed figure edge estimated over their competition? And then also there's the fact that this horse did so well at Leopardstown, a track that is left-handed, had decent ground on that day. I just think he fits the race like a glove. You may be right, but I don't know. Let's publicize that stat so maybe we can get something near the 2-1, because on figures alone, this horse is long odds on. And at long odds on, that stat is enough to give me pause and want to throw another in. We'll get to our final answers at the end of the video, but I'll throw out a couple more that we should talk about first. Legend of Time is a horse that certainly deserves discussion. He has been more hype than reality on his stateside starts. Not that he's been horrible. He won ahead in the Grade 2 Pennine Ridge, but the figures, the buyer figures he's been running are not nearly as fast as the estimated buyer he would have run at Maidan, and it leaves me a little bit cold. But he's certainly one of the logical alternatives. Is he on your radar for a win in this spot?
Well, if you look at what Legend of Time did at Churchill Downs, the American Turf on Derby Day, I would say that it was a little bit of a disappointment. However, Trickery came back and won a Grade 1 in the Belmont Derby, so maybe that performance wasn't as bad as we thought. And between those, the Pennine Ridge, I thought Legend of Time had kind of got it figured out. And then last time in the Belmont Derby, I was a little disappointed in Legend of Time. So at what's likely to be the second choice, I'll take another shot at trying to beat Legend of Time. His inconsistency just a touch too much for me.
I hear you. Of the domestic runners on the morning line, number 2, Cugino is the shortest price, went gate to wire under Flavian Pratt at Churchill Downs. In the Audubon Stakes, that's a listed stake back on June 1st. Looks a candidate to be the best of speed under Irad Ortiz here. Pratt ending up on White Palomino on the outside for Chad Brown. That could be political. What do you think about this pair, Cugino and White Palomino, where Pratt ends up? Any observations?
Yeah, I don't need either one of them. I think that Cugino was fortunate to be forward in a slow pace last time. I think the same about White Palomino. But because of White Palomino being forward and almost holding on, there is a couple of horses out of that race that I think are interesting. First of all, Royal Majesty, who's ultimately going to be my top pick in here. I thought this horse ran extremely well on 2 occasions. This horse was trying to close into a slow pace in the Pennine Ridge, was trying to close into a slow pace in the Belmont Derby, and both of them was beaten about a length. I think Royal Majesty is sitting on a big race with an opportunity to take another step forward. And then Deterministic is a one who hasn't had a chance to run this far yet. But what this horse showed us in the Gotham, or at least showed me in the Gotham, is there was talent. Then he came back in the Manila and ran well enough going the flat mile. Now we've got an opportunity to go a little bit further, the mile and 3/16, and I think it could just hit him right between the eyes. My top pick in here is going to be Royal Majesty. My second choice is going to be Deterministic. I'm going to try to beat Legend of Time and Diego Velasquez.
I like your confidence and your boldness. And those 2 horses, the 6 and the 7 you mentioned, they're going to be on my not the 6 and the 7, the 5 and the 7. They're going to be on my tickets as well. Deterministic does seem like one of these horses. We knew all the talent he had and, really did have that flow. He had a flow excuse last time in the Manila when he ran second. trying to close into that slow pace. He makes a lot of sense as one. That could have been like a buried, improved kind of race where he could step up again. And I love where he sits on the pace map in here. And you made the case for Royal Majesty as well. More for under, but one I want. But I will make my top pick in this race, Diego Velasquez. How I bet it is obviously going to depend on how the wagering goes. This is an interesting race. First race of an all-stakes pick 5. So there's an opportunity to see the board before making our final answers. But there you have it. That's how we see this year's Saratoga Derby.